So, if you'd come to me a couple years ago, I would have probably said to you that this young man that I was just talking about in the last video was the love of my life. But it didn't end up that way. So anyway, we got together, me and this young man. I would say for me, it was more like a trauma. Is it trauma band? Or, when you go through so much trauma and you kind of hold on to anything that's loving you or showing you some sort of affection, some sort of love, something you need someone to you just need someone to cure your heart instead of you curing it yourself or healing yourself. I didn't know this at that time, or else I might not have been in that relationship. So I felt hard for him. You can almost say that I absolutely adored him and loved him more than I loved myself. I think because of what I'd been through, I just had so much love to give, and I gave it to him. I gave it all to him. So we got together when I was 14. It was a normal teenage relationship, I would say. We saw each other at the weekends. We chilled with our friends. It was fun. We did things together that the memories are nice because we were only children. And then we had our first child when I was nearly 18. I had my first child the month before I became 18, so you can say 17. A little bit devastated because I feel like I just continued the family pattern of having babies young. Which, by the way, guys, I might as well just say it now because I was going to say it later on. When you see family patterns happen, and the family pattern is, in my mum's side, is everybody have babies young, and a lot of the women, sorry, I'm thinking because I'm just like, I know it's going to be really hard for some of them to hear this, but a lot of the women get raped in my family. It's like a curse. But what you realize is it's called a generational curse, and somewhere along the line things become a repetition and they keep repeating themselves. If it keeps repeating itself, it's normally a generational curse. I personally don't know where this generational curse came from, but I do know that it had been around a long time before me. I haven't been raped, by the grace of God, but we will come to that later on. We will come to that. So I kind of beat the curse a little bit by having my daughter just as I was nearly 18. But it's still, to me, no difference because they're still young, and my girls are in their 20s, and my first daughter only just had her first child last year and she was 25. So you can say the generational curse on this side was broken by her, and I'm really grateful for that. And I will take some responsibility in that. I brought them up better because how I was brought up, I did not want my children to be brought up. So you can say I educated them. And love is the one thing that's always missing. That's why most kids end up doing the things that they do, because nobody cares enough at home to give them a hug, to find out what's hurting them, to be their support, to be their rock. My children can tell you I would fight anyone for my children. I am what they will call mama bear or lioness. My children, don't mess with me and my kids. And that's only because I don't think my mom ever defended me. I don't think she ever stood up for me. Like, if anything, I think she joined in when someone would say something about me, and she would talk about me, because she would come back and she'd be like, this person said that, and this person said that you were lazy, and they said that you didn't help out at their house. And it's hurtful because these people that I stayed at, like my aunts, who I love so dearly, would have me at her house, and my mom would be like, she said you did this, she said you did that. There was never anything positive coming back. And as I got older, or even before I got older, I was like, so what did you say? Did you just sit there and listen to someone badmouth your child instead of defending me or teaching me, so when I go back there next time, I don't make the same mistake? And that's definitely something I learned. I'm not saying I'm the best parent, because I think I could do probably 70% better, because you can only do what you know. And if you don't know, oh my gosh, it goes amiss. But I have tried my hardest as a mother to support my children. And there is nothing anyone can say about my children that I wouldn't defend them for. If they're wrong, they're wrong. And they know I will tell them that they're wrong. Because I'm not going to bring children into this world that are going to be spoiled and think like I'm always right, because they're not. But I will not allow someone to talk down on my children, because I'm trying to raise them up. I'm trying to raise kings and queens in this house, not depressed, sad people of my past. Because I've noticed that when you put people down, they kind of stay down. Because I was there for a while. You know, there was nothing that I could do good. So I felt like I was worthless. I felt like no one had my back, and I didn't want that for them. But anyway, let's go back to having my first child, 18. His mum and me had a rocky start after we were getting to know each other. And it was like, when it came to me having a baby, she was so against it. She was so against it. I didn't understand, but I understood later why. She knew something that I didn't know. So she was against it. Then he went from really, really happy to, oh, I don't want this baby now because his mum said so. I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him there, because it was like, is this your mum's life or is this your life? You know what I said about living your own life. And I was just like, I'm having this baby, because at the end of the day, if you didn't want a baby, then you should have strapped up. You should have made sure that we didn't get pregnant. And not to mention that I'd actually had an abortion when I was younger, and I refused to go there because that abortion, it was hard. It was so hard. I thought about that child for years and years and years, and I thought I killed a baby just because I was scared to be a mother at 15. And then I thought, I just felt sad. And I just couldn't do it again. So when it happened with my oldest daughter, I was like, there is no choice. I am not that 15-year-old anymore. But I will do what I have to do. And if it means that I was going to do it by myself, I was going to do it by myself. I was brought up by myself, well, not myself, but I was brought up by a single parent. Sorry. I was brought up by a single parent, and in all aspects, even though she was an abuser, she didn't do too bad. She did the best that she could with the knowledge that she had. And I understood that. And the way I saw it was that she was just trying to be a strict parent, weirdly, because it wasn't that strict, because I was pretty much allowed to do what I wanted to do. Just, she had rules. She definitely had more rules for me than she had my sister, that's for sure. But it is what it is. And we had our first child, and it was pretty okay for a while. He cheated a lot. I didn't say this at the beginning, but he actually cheated a lot. I feel like he cheated all the way through our relationship. Again, kind of leaves you feeling worthless, because I think for him, his mum thought he could do better than me. And I think he thought maybe he was too young. I don't know. I'm literally just thinking for somebody else. But I'd love to know why he did what he did. I did get a sorry later on in life. And I accepted it. Because I'm glad that he realized that he did wrong. And I can only hope that it humbled him to change later on in life. And hopefully the next person that comes along, he will respect them more. But I will, you know, when they say like a man cheats, it's not always one-sided. I will take my part in it as well. Like, I know he had like an upbringing where his dad did the same thing to his mother and other women in his dad's life, but it's no excuse. But like I said, I'll take my part. I was too young. I wasn't raised to know how to love a man the way that he should. I loved him, but I didn't know how to show my love. I didn't know how to dress the part, which, looking back, I know that he wanted me to look a certain way, but in my head and in my mind, I felt low. So I couldn't pick myself up to dress that way. I did when I was younger, because you're a teenager, you know, you always want to look glam. But I think after I had my daughter, I went into a depressive state, and it was financially, I didn't have the things that I wanted. I couldn't go shopping like I wanted. I just didn't feel to make myself look good to please the man that I was with. And that was my part. And the way I saw it was, if he loved me, he would love me no matter what I looked like. But I know sometimes for a man, it's the eyes that they see with. I know he loved me in some ways, but I think he wanted me to have more self-pride in myself. Whereas coming from where I'd come from with my mum and the rest of my life, and then a relationship with him, I hadn't healed. Mentally, I don't know where I was. I think I was just still low for a very long time. So, yeah, he cheated a lot. I think we loved each other. I know I loved him. He was my first of everything, my first proper boyfriend, my first love. But he never wanted to live with me, which broke me because I felt like I was still a single mom. He would say I wasn't a single mom because he was there. And I won't ever say he wasn't. He was there, but it would be nice to have had someone at home to come home to share my life with, you know, like when my daughter was ill. Because a lot of the times when she was ill, it was always me on my own. And then you realize, like, you know, I'm by myself. He's at home in his mom's house. You know, I'm struggling with my bills. He's at home at his mom's house. Felt single to me. Pretty much felt single to me. And then he asked me for a second child. I don't know why I said yes. I think I just didn't want my daughter to be on her own because she was 6 at the time, or 5. And I was like, you know what? She does need a sibling. And he promised me that he was going to move in. But he didn't. We just never got there. So I'd had another child at home, me and 2 kids. Yeah. That was fun. But yeah, and then like years later his mum died. And I do remember keep saying to him, like, and I know I don't want to come across as cold, but he was a bit of a mummy's boy. And I kept saying to him that one day your mum is not going to be there. And you should be building a relationship with me because I will be your future with your children. Not knowing that I don't think this man saw me as his future. He saw me as his baby maker. But I don't think he saw me as his future. Which I find so strange and so weird. I don't get it. I don't know. I think how we allow people to treat us is how we ended up how we allow other people to treat us is how we end up getting treated. Now, I allowed him, obviously. So his mum dies and I've literally dropped everything and I've gone to this man because I know how much he loved his mum and I know how much she loved him. And I know that he would have been devastated. Like, so I dropped everything and I went to him. Me and the kids got to his home. Oh, we weren't together at that stage because I'd had enough. I had decided that I'd had enough of just being the bit on the side or the woman, but you're having the bits on the side. You're just continuously cheating. I had enough. Took me 7 years. So anyway, his mum died. I found out and I went to the house. As I got to the house, there's another woman there comforting him. Fine. We're not together. Bit sad, but fine. I don't remember what happened, but I think she probably just left or something. The only reason I knew there was a woman is because there was like some pink lipstick on the side of his cheek. And the thing is, like I say, I see in the spirit. So sometimes I see things that's given by the spirit but isn't actually there. But other people can't see it. So up to this day, I'm not quite sure if that was a real lipstick, because it was it was a print of a lip, like too perfect. Too perfect. But yes, so we went into the house to comfort him and just was there for a long time, up until his mum got buried. His family wasn't pleased that I was there, but for once in his life, he actually stood up for me, and he was like, she's here for me, and deal with it. I was quite shocked because he never stood up to his mother like that, but that was fine. Through it all, we ended up getting close again, and we ended up with another child, my last child, my son. So we ended up with 3 kids, but we didn't end up back together. I think he was still cheating. That's why we didn't end up back together. He was still seeing other women, telling me how much he loved me, telling me how much he needed me, but he still couldn't put down these other women, which I found so heartbreaking, because I loved him so much and I didn't feel like I needed to be treated like that. And I don't know if you know anything about trauma, but when you're already in trauma from the past, it's just more trauma on top. And I'm feeling worthless. I'm feeling so worthless. So I think there's bits that I've missed out. I may have to add it somewhere along the line. But yeah, we had our son, and I think at some stage he realized that he'd loved me and he wanted to be with me. So one night he was really drunk. He phoned me and he was like, can you come and get me? I went and got him and I took him back to my place. And in his drunken state, he was just like, apparently I treat him so mean. And even though I treat him so mean, he wants to marry me. And I think for the first time in my life, it was something I always wanted. But then I realized, like, you've treated me so bad for, let's say this point we'd got to 15 years or 16 years. He treated me so bad. I couldn't imagine my life with him. I just kept thinking that would be it. I would spend my life having to deal with a cheating man who never saw me as enough. And I had to realize that I am somebody's role model. I have my girls to think about and my son. To stand up and say that this is what I deserve after all the life that I've been through was a bit of a slap in the face. I couldn't let them believe that a man should treat you however he wants and then you just marry him just because you don't want to be on your own. I'd rather be on my own than be with a man that just doesn't see me as enough. That's what I realized. And then when he woke up the next day, I said to him, you said to me that you have engagement ring. I would have liked that years and years ago. But at the stage that we're at, I don't think that's a good idea. I will never marry you because you don't love me enough and you never have. And then I just closed that chapter. And I found the strength to love myself more than my situation. I think this is when I started to realize that I'm worth more. Because as women, we are worth more. If a man can't give you the love and affection and everything that a woman needs to make you feel like a queen that you are, he's not the one. I'm not one for finances or financial situations, because you know what? He had a really good job. And I could have done with some finances in my life, but it has to be all round. It has to be love, emotional support. Just, I'm looking for more. And now the level that I'm at, I'm looking for a man that loves God more than me. Because a man that loves God will love and cherish his woman. Because I love God. And I know that I am going to love and cherish the man that I am going to be with. Because I know I have it in me. I already loved and cherished a man. And I wasn't even saved. I gave him wifey treatment when I now know you don't do that. Not until he makes you his wife. And I'm glad that I went through what I went through, because everything that I have gone through has given me strength. Oh my goodness. Excuse my dog, she's in the background barking. After that relationship, I would say I was, I think 28, 29, or just 30. And I finally found love for me. I'd been broken for so long that I just thought that that was it. I was accepting life as that's just how it was. I didn't expect any more for myself, because like I didn't love myself enough. And after that relationship, I thought I have to learn to love me before I can go anywhere with anyone, before I can get into anything else with concerning a relationship or even friendship as well. You really do have to learn to love you. It's so important, because when you love you, you respect you, you expect the best for yourself. If I would give my children advice and give people like close friends and family advice about the things that I think that they should do for themselves with loving themselves, it's only fair that I should take that advice for myself. All this, imagine, it's still training that God's putting me through. And I didn't even see this at this point. I really didn't even see it at this point. Until the next video or the next recording.